Chair recognizes Representative Frost.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. You know, I'm glad to hear that my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, and I've heard it said time and time again, are very concerned about the overreach of government. And I want to give a suggestion. We should look at a state where government is very much overreaching, my state of Florida, where our Governor Ron DeSantis is abusing the power of the state to target people who disagree with him. And so if folks want to talk about government overreach, I suggest going to where it is the worst, in fascist Governor DeSantis. I'll also say this. We heard people talking about, folks talking about disabled veterans, which is an incredibly important issue to me as my father and a lot of folks in my families are veterans. I come from a military family. But I just want to state for the record, no disabled veteran group submitted public comment about the ATF rule as an issue. And when we reached out to these groups, they advised that they do not intend on taking that position. Mr. Wilcox, do you want to speculate why they're not wanting to comment on this?
I'm reticent to speak for another organization, but I'd have to guess that it's because they don't see it as a disabled veterans issue. Okay,
thank you. Mr. Wilcox, how many people did we lose last year due to gun violence?
There was 48,830 people killed by guns in this country last year.
I know we lose 100 lives a day due to gun violence. Hundreds are shot a day, and thousands survive shootings. Is that correct, Mr. Wilcox?
That's right, and my numbers actually were for 2021, not for last year.
Over time, is this problem getting worse, or is it getting better?
Sadly and tragically, it is getting worse. The rate of gun deaths has increased 39% from 2012 to 2021.
Does the premise of this hearing get us any closer to solving gun violence?
I think at times we've talked about the value of ATF and common sense gun laws, but I think the premise itself does not get us, of the hearing, much closer to the solutions that we need to this gun violence epidemic.
I just heard one of my colleagues bring up the fact that this hearing's about a brace and it's not about gun violence or victims or anything like that. And I think it goes to show just how much people don't understand what it means to take a step back and look at an issue holistically. And that's why this is about everything. It's about victims. It's about the brace. It's about the families. It's about the fact that if you have a child in this country and God forbid they die before the age of 18, the most likely reason is because they were shot to death in this country in 2023. You know, I plan on acknowledging three people. Both of them are not in this room anymore. Folks who I've worked with and that I know, Manny and Patricia Oliver, who lost their son, Joaquin Oliver, in the Parkland shooting. To lose a child to gun violence, to see the photos of your child sitting in a pool of blood, I can't imagine that. You know, Manny and Patricia have dedicated their lives to fighting for a world where true justice can be achieved because, unfortunately, there is no justice for the dead. And true justice is ensuring that this never happens again. I fight alongside Manny and Patricia Oliver. I believe that they are American heroes. And what they always say is they don't want their son Joaquin to be remembered as a victim. They want him to be remembered as an activist. And today, Republicans on this committee chose to sit in front of those parents and the survivors and organizers and advocates that are in the audience right now. People who are reliving their trauma, listening through this, people impacted by gun violence across the nation, and show that their priority is gun lobby money, manufacturers who profit off death, and creating fake narratives for political gain. Again, the leading cause of death for kids in America is guns. And today's hearing is about distracting the people from the truth. They want you to believe that the greater threat is the ATF, and not the facts that are in front of us. We heard one of my colleagues bring up facts. Let's look at the facts, and I just said them. 100 people a day. And I know it's easy to say a number and forget that behind every number, there's a human. There's a Joaquin Oliver. Enough is enough, not one more. And to all the organizers, advocates, survivors, and families here today, I'm so sorry that you've had to sit through this hearing. I'm so sorry that you had to see what happened outside to Manny and Patricia, who are just fighting for a world where no other parents have to go through what they went through. And I, for one, believe this has nothing to do with policy and everything to do with politics. And I won't be listening to another second of it, and I wouldn't blame you all if you made the same decision. I yield back.
Chair recognizes Representative Higgins.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to introduce for the record